So ndio hiyo. So ina record.
Unasema internal storage full, lakini ina
but ime switch to nini?
Okay, sasa. Sijaanza kurekodi kufika huko.
Asindakata tu. Labda kuna vitu interesting tu nataka kuona hapa hivi.
Okay.
Zile una nini?
Margaret River, Lake.
Sijika huo guide anaweza kubali kunimwekea microphone.
Si utamwongelesha tu.
Ama nauliza hawa wase.
Utauliza tu guide, ongea tu na.
Guide mwenyewe, si ndio? Hajui tukisikia story kutoka kwake itakuwa interesting.
Itakuwa better. Atakuuliza unatakia ya nini? Naambia just for your own use.
Unaweza mwambia ni ya shule?
Oh yeah, mwambia ya shule yake.
Chani angalia.
Ukikaa karibu na yeye unajua kamera itamshika kinyana sana. Ukae naye bumper.
But microphone is stronger. Hata akiwa 250 away from me, si lazima nikuwe karibu na hiyo microphone inaweza chukua hata kako 250 meters away from me. So si lazima nikuwe ati niko karibu na mimi, naweza kuwa tu uko nyuma naangalia vitu zingine but anaongea, so hii ina capture tu ndani ya recording. Ka?
Good morning everyone and welcome to Lake Cave. With all the ticket holders for the 11:20 tour, please make your way towards the rear of the building where the cave tour sign is the glass doors to meet your tour guide, who will be me. Please have your entry tickets ready to meet and I'll meet you at the glass doors.
That's my name, me.
No, come on through.
Alright everyone, so I will grab your entry tickets about halfway down, so remember, you want to have a ticket, because I'm going to make you walk down 100 stairs. If you don't have a ticket, you have to walk back up. No, I'm joking. But I'll pop this door open, we're just walking outside to the right, down some stairs, and I'll meet you about halfway.
Okay.
Mkaribie. Unaona ni kama anaweza kataa.
Anaweza kataa? Thank you.
Ama tujaribu tu.
Tutajaribu tu.
Shida sasa atuambie atamfai kuvisit.
Cool.
Lakini haiwezi.
Tuambie
ati fight kule.
Hapana, nafikiria kukarekodi watu wamekubali. Juu lazima ukuwe na hii memory.
Yes. Mevanju mzuri.
Na kuna mali anasimama na tupatia brief. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa place chance ya ku.
No, anasema halfway. When you're halfway down there.
Okay.
Kama tulikuwa tunaongelea huko. Kilo, whatever you do, don't slide.
Mm.
Nature's air conditioner. So it's hot today. Thank you so much. So we're making our way down to the shades area, and you can take a seat on the benches where you sat down. So yeah, you lead the way, and I'll meet you down the bottom, and I'll send everyone down to you. So yeah, where it's shaded, take a seat on the
Yeah.
benches there. That's where we'll start the tour. It's a bit hot in the sun.
Yes.
That's me.
Okay. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh, can I grab that ticket
we
I
can.
gave you? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you got it?
He's,
You've handballed it.
Yeah, we're from
Awesome.
Kenya.
From Kenya? No
Yeah.
way. That's so far away.
Yeah.
Do you mind me putting this microphone on you?
On me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be $10. No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's all right.
I'll fix.
Does it just clip on?
Yeah, you can clip on or you can use the magnet either way, the way you want it.
Oh, okay.
So,
There's
Good,
a,
good for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hold this for me?
do you want to chip it in here? Is
Yeah,
that gonna work?
that's better.
Might be. Sweet.
Awesome.
I won't steal it.
Yeah.
So I'll meet you guys at the shaded spot.
Okay,
down
sure,
there.
no worries.
Hello. Welcome to the big hole.
So, ebu angalia
So I'm
akiongea.
at the shaded spot just down there. Welcome to take a seat on the bench. Thank you so much.
Hakuna kitu.
Please start.
Hakuna kitu.
Okay.
Cheki phone yako.
Sawa. Tunamngojea wapi huko chini? Kwa ile bench eh? Twende.
Nilikuwa hata ningeshika na mkono ndio unisikie.
Kushika nini na mkono? Kama hiyo ndaiseti tu. Ndaiset up.
Nitakuja kupatia na instruction. Kama wa junior huko.
So,
Like amazing.
yeah, this is a trip you should make again.
Like amazing.
Imeanza.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we do have to walk back up. Yeah, walk back up. All right, everyone, welcome. You will see we've got a few more people coming down. We will not leave without them, but you're all here, so we will begin with the tour. So, firstly, welcome to Lake Cave. My name's Jackson. I'll be your tour guide for this morning. I do hope you're about to enjoy what you're going to see down in our cave. But before we go down into Lake Cave, you might be wanting to know, why is there a giant hole in the middle of the forest here? Some of you may have figured out already, this used to be a cave. There used to be a roof on top of where we are. The reason that roof has come down is because we are in the middle of a forest. So if you go back tens of thousands of years ago, when this was a cave, there would have been trees growing above us. And that was fine, however, those trees had roots, which were digging through the cave looking for water at the bottom. They would have found water, they would have had a great life as a tree, but when that tree died, the root would have rotted away. And in that roof, there now would have been a very small hole. And because this was a limestone cave, or it still is a limestone cave, those little holes would have been dissolved by the rainwater. They would have slowly been made larger and larger and larger, and bit by bit, you would have had the roof crumbling down. So this is what we refer to as a dazzling. It's just a fancy way of saying ancient sinkhole. I like to say dazzling because it makes me sound really smart. So if you hear me say that word, it's just because of that. But this has been here, we believe, for at the very least 10,000 years, but most likely much, much longer, probably in the hundreds of thousands of years. Behind me as well, you should see two big towering trees, those grey ones. Those are known as karri trees. They're endemic to the southwest corner of Australia. There's a forest just down the road, absolutely full of them. If you haven't been there already, I really do highly advise you go down and check it out. These ones are about 200 years old, so pretty old trees. This sapling you see behind me here, this is a karri tree that's about 2.5 years old. So if you all come back here in 200 years, there'll be a giant tree right there. And I don't think I'll see many of you in 200 years. But we do have a cave to see, so we've got more stairs down to go. I'm going to let you all lead the way to the next platform, which is a red brick platform, and that's where you can wait for me. So whoever is happy to go first, I will follow the leader, and I'll get you at the bottom of the domain. So yeah, red brick platform, that's where you can wait for me.
Yeah.
And I'll grab your hand with this guy. Welcome.
Oh yeah, hi, sorry.
Oh, did you have a booking online, did you?
Yeah.
What was the name for the booking?
Gabriella.
Gabrielle.
Try
Yeah, I
to
saw
put
that
your
earlier.
cut
All
on.
good. I'll keep a mental note of it.
Oh,
So, yeah.
brilliant, thank you.
No worries, yeah. So I'll meet you down at the bottom. Enjoy the tour.
I'll just switch it on.
Oh, you're not hearing me.
Yeah. I know the camera has captured you, but I just want it now on.
So I am a pretty loud person.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Yep.
The cave is very inconsiderate of moving itself all the way down here.
We're 200 years old for them to have an elevator.
So did everyone feel that temperature drop a little bit? Definitely not freezing, but it dropped a little bit. When we get into the cave shortly, the temperature in the cave is about 16 degrees. And the humidity is always about 99%, so it's pretty comfortable down there. But now that you are at the bottom, have a look back up from where you come from. It's a pretty awesome view from down here. So the first people to know about this doland, this ancient sinkhole, would be the local Aboriginal people. And where we are, they're named the Wadandi people, and what that stands for is saltwater people living near the ocean. So there's archaeological evidence, not in this cave, but in other caves in the southwest that goes back over 60,000 years of the Wadandi people being here. So they've been here for a very, very long time. When it comes to this cave, there was no archaeological evidence to show they came down the hole and into the cave. We don't know exactly why that is. The main theory is though, why on earth would you bother coming down a giant hole to get into a cave? When there are other caves in the region that you can simply walk right into, and that's where significant evidence of Wadandi people has been found. We're talking about European settlement. It was 1897 that this doline was discovered. It was by a gentleman named Tim Connolly, who was out in the area surveying with a few of his mates. They came across a big hole, and their first thought was, whoa, what's down the bottom? So they tied themselves to a tree, they abseiled down to the halfway point, which is where you passed me, and then, if you have a look against the wall here, they would have come sliding down these rocks, tying themselves to big boulders, going behind this giant rock to eventually get down into what we now know as Lake Cave. By the way, this rock behind me, we do have a nickname for it. It looks like a big sinking ship. So what do you think we called it? Titanic. Yes, we're very creative. This is Titanic rock sinking down into Lake Cave. We're actually very lucky this rock has fallen where it has. So you can see it's come from probably this area up on the right, mind you, a very long time ago. And the way that it's wedged itself has stopped these smaller boulders from blocking the entrance. So if it didn't fall down where it has, they may have never even found a way into the cave initially. So that was 1897, that was Tim Connolly. He was pretty blown away with what he saw down there. He decided we need to share this with the world, and the cave was open for tours in 1901, so 4 years later. Tim Connolly guided here for about 34 years until he passed away, so he's the longest serving cave guide we've had. I don't think I'll be beating his record. 34 years is a long time. But of course, you actually came down these rocks, tying yourselves to boulders to get into the cave, because there were no stairs built for tours in 1901, so it was a very adventurous way of getting down. And we are walking into a limestone cave that dates back approximately 1 million years. It is absolutely breathtaking down there, but it is also very fragile. And we want to make sure we protect the cave, same way it's been protected for nearly 120 years, or over 120 years. Best way to do that is to look at the cave with our eyes, but please do not touch the cave with your hands, your greasy, oily fingers, because as humans, we have natural oils and acids in our skin. If we touch the limestone or the crystal down there, those oils rub off, that would discolour formations and it will stop them from growing as well. So please look, take as many photos as you like, use the flash in your cameras, but please do not touch the crystals or the limestone down there. I don't see any food or drink, but I have to mention water is okay. Any other food or drink? No, we don't want to take that down there, because there is an ecosystem in the cave. We don't want to disturb that ecosystem. We'll talk more about it when we get down there. I'll be leading the way into the cave because I have a key in my pocket that opens the gate, so you can't get in without me. I'll be going first. Can I ask for a volunteer who's happy to be last into the cave to close that gate behind them? Anyone? You happy to do it? Awesome. So all you're going to do is pull the metal gate closed behind you. I cannot stress this enough. You are not getting locked in the cave, okay? You can get out whenever you want. Little button will open the gate. I am not locking you in a cave. You can get out. But there are a couple of low rocks as you enter, so please do be careful of your head. This first set of stairs, nobody is going to have to duck. The second set of stairs, there are 2 low rocks. The first rock is called headache rock, because it hurts if you hit your head. The second rock, that is called splitting headache rock. That hurts even more. So make sure you do duck your head. Please be careful. And without further ado, when you're ready, you can follow me. We'll make our way into Lake Cave.
Titanic.
I've got many party tricks in the cave. My favourite one is this big rock here. It looks like a boring rock, but when I turn the torch on, look, have a look, it lights up green. Yes, one of my many party tricks. So this is algae growing on the limestone.
Now let's go bury ourselves. Down we go. Ooh.
Yeah, those fast guys were daring.
Det var daring man säger.
Yeah, so we call this an active cave, and when I say active, what I mean is water is dripping from the roof. And the water dripping from the roof is actually how you get all these crystals, all these spiky things coming down. So we'll talk about them shortly as well. Welcome underground.
When we're talking about ecosystem,
Yep. Ecosystems?
yeah.
Yeah. We have
I
this.
hope you're not talking about snakes as well.
No, we're talking about crocodiles. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, we're actually talking about little microscopic things that we can't see. So there are things that live down here, but we can't see them, so no need to worry about it. A very common question we get is, do you get any bats in this cave? And the answer is no, we don't get any bats in this cave. Mammoth Cave up the road, they do get bats. It's usually in the afternoon once the cave's closed and no one's walking through because we're very noisy. They don't like us because we're very noisy. But yeah, late evening you can quite often see these little bats flying around Mammoth Cave. Yeah, nothing's new. Just be careful of your head.
Oh, those guys must have been really there.
I know, right? Yeah. I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, with a rope. So when the tours first started.
And the guys coming for the tours, they also had to be climbing.
Yep. So we do. You're on a 1 hour tour today. Back then the tour went for pretty much a whole day. So you abseiled, you brought your lunch, you had a picnic in the dough lane, and you were down here. But you're only down here for about an hour, like we are today. But it was the getting down and the getting back. It was such a big mission. So yeah.
Even see the water.
That's because I haven't turned the lights on yet. Thank you, gatekeeper. I do appreciate it. Now, remember how I said you are not locked in a cave? The way you get out is whoever gets to the gate first, there is a red button just to the right of that gate. Push that for 2 seconds, and that'll open the gate for you. So I'll be last out of the cave at the end of the tour to make sure I don't leave anyone down here. Whoever gets to the gate first, you just press that red button. If you are not first to the gate and you really like pressing red buttons, you can still press the red button. It's fine. But you are in Lake Cave, and what really brings this cave to life is the reflections off the water. So if you have a look behind me, you'll be able to see all our lovely crystals and all those reflections bouncing off. You can see the water, yeah. So before I talk about the water, does anybody want to have a guess how many meters underground you are? I'll give you a hint. It is less than 100 meters. So any guesses?
Less than 100.
Less than 100, yeah.
90.
90?
Yep.
Any other guesses? 50? Did you want to have a guess?
40-50.
40 or 50, yeah? Yeah, no other guesses? All right, thanks for playing. We are currently 62 metres underground, which means up above your head is nearly 60 metres of limestone, which brings me to another question. Has anyone had a water drop land on their head?
Yes.
A few people, yeah? So if you get a water drop land on your head, that is from rainwater landing directly above. Because you are 62 metres underground, for that rainwater to get through the limestone and onto your head, that journey on average will take approximately 10 months. So that water drop's been looking for you for 10 months. Finally found you. And even though we are 62 metres underground, we're still 30 metres above sea level. We're a long way above the ocean. So this is all fresh water that you're looking at. It's all coming from rainwater either directly above or rainwater about 2.5 kilometres east of where we are. Because this is not a lake. This is a stream that very slowly flows through the cave. Starts 2.5 kilometres away, water flows to us here, and it will keep flowing that way for another 3 kilometres until it comes out at Contos Beach, at a place called Contos Springs. It's a very slow moving stream. It takes about 2 years for it to get from the swampland 2.5 kilometres away to where we are. So we call it Lake Cave because it definitely looks like a still body of water, but don't be fooled, it is slowly flowing through the cave. Now I'm going to lead the way to the next platform, but before I do, very important safety briefing. You'll notice that the walkway has a hand railing on the left-hand side and it has water on the right-hand side. So as you are walking, please hold on to the hand railing and don't fall in the water. Our last victim was 6 months ago. Don't be the person that makes me change that to our last victim was today. Not very deep at all, no. It's about waist deep. About waist deep, so nothing too crazy. But when you're ready, you can follow me and I'll meet you at the next platform. And then if you really stretch your imagination, this little thing here, that is the head place I'd rather be than the 16-degree cave. On a nice hot summer's day, it's beautiful down here. It never changes. So whilst I wait for everyone to come up onto this platform, I might get a few people just to sneak up a little bit further. Just don't walk around the corner, but just stand up on the left there. Don't stand right near the water. But just to make a little bit more space on the platform, that'll be awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Kaka, kuna vitu anafanya na torch.
You guys are very good there. I'm not going to push you anything, but I do have a little light panel that I'll be getting to here. So. Yeah, folks, we'll just have to bunch up on this platform a little bit just to let you know when I turn on some lights, it will get a little bit dark in the background there, so don't be scared, I'm not turning all the lights on. Now, if you didn't hear me say, when you are in a cave, you have to have a good imagination, because it just makes being down here a lot more fun. As these lights dim down, I'm going to get some reflections bouncing off the water up towards the roof, and you should be able to see some really cool patterns up on the roof there. Now, if you follow those patterns over to the wall here, reflecting up against this formation, we do say this formation here looks like something. What would you say that looks like?
Dragon.
Dragon, yes, good job. That's our cave dragon. Looks very mystical with the reflections bouncing off the water there. Of course, our cave dragon is not a real thing. It's just a bunch of crystals coming out of the wall there. But I did mention we have life in the cave. Now, if you want to know what that life is, it lives in the water. And you should see some lights turn on, highlighting the water. But if you look really, really closely, you won't see anything. Because these things are microscopic. You can't see them with your eyes. But they do live in the water. And there's over 20 different species of them. They're called stygofauna. And if there's no water in this cave, those stygofauna will not survive. So we have to make sure there's always water within Lake Cave. Fun fact for you all, you're actually seeing more water in Lake Cave today than Tim Connolly did in 1897 when he discovered the cave. And then over to the right, you should see this beautiful formation sitting above the water. Now, if anyone is wondering, this does not touch the ground underneath. That is completely suspended to the roof. We call it the suspended table for pretty obvious reasons. And we'll talk a little bit about this one came to be shortly. But before we do that, I want to tell you how the crystal grows. So all these spiky things coming down from the roof, these are all made out of a substance called calcite. And the way you get calcite forming is from rainwater. So when it rains outside, that rainwater becomes very mildly acidic as it passes through the atmosphere. Because this is a limestone cave, as that water passes through the limestone, it'll actually dissolve it. And you'll get a tiny piece of calcite in that water drop. And as that water drop holds onto the roof, what's going to happen is, very slowly, a ring of calcite starts to build around it. And you will slowly get these formations, which are long, skinny, and also hollow in the middle. So because these are long, skinny, and hollow, we call them a straw, just like a drinking straw. And like I said, they're all made out of calcite. If you come over here and have a look at these thicker ones coming down from the roof, these are what we call stalactites. And the way a stalactite forms is exactly the same, but this time when that water drop holds onto the roof, instead of a ring of calcite being left behind, a layer of calcite is being left behind. So these are not hollow through the middle, they are completely solid, which would mean they're much heavier, and they're also holding onto the roof. These ones that come up from the ground, these are known as stalagmites, and stalagmites are going to grow from every water drop that falls down onto the cave floor, because every water drop that comes down brings a tiny piece of calcite with it once again. So to anybody that gets a water drop land on their head, land on their neck today, you're actually going to be leaving the cave with a tiny piece of calcite. However, you will not get a stalagmite growing out of your head unless you stand still for a very long time, because these things do take thousands of years to form. Now, the suspended table, what's going on here? Well, the two big things holding onto the roof, these are called columns. It's where a stalactite and a stalagmite have met in the middle. It's a very common thing to happen in limestone caves. The table formation down the bottom here, that is also calcite, but it's a type of calcite we call flowstone. And the way flowstone comes to be, it's water coming into the cave once again, but it's landing on top of a solid surface, and that water, it's quite a lot of it, so it very slowly flows along the top. All this stuff in the corner here, all that smooth rock, that is also flowstone calcite as well. So this table is actually telling us all something very interesting. That's where the ground in the cave used to be. That point there used to be the floor. Crystal has grown on top of the floor, but then the water has come from left to right, and it's washed everything away from underneath. and it's left the whole thing holding onto the roof, which is pretty impressive. But the thing that I find the most impressive is how much this thing weighs. The amount of weight we're looking at there. Before I tell you, does anybody want to have a guess how heavy the 2 columns and the table might be altogether?
Half a ton.
1.5 tons. How much was this?
Half a ton.
Half a ton. We've got half a ton. We've got 1.5 tons. Any other guesses? Somebody said higher. I need a number. No? 3 tons? All right. Thank you for playing. We have no idea. No, I'm joking. We do have an answer. Would you believe approximately 5.3 tons?
Wow.
So to give you a mental image, holding onto the roof right now is the equivalent of approximately 2 Toyota Land Cruisers holding onto the roof. So the density of calcite, much heavier than concrete. It's about 2.7 tons per cubic metre. The strength of calcite, not very strong. I did say it's fragile. I'm not lying. On a hardness scale from 1 to 10, your fingernails are about 2.5, and calcite comes in at a 3. So it's a tiny bit stronger than your fingernail, but slightly denser than concrete. So thank you for playing my guessing game. I do enjoy that part of the tour. For this part of the tour though, I'm going to sneak past, and I'm going to be standing around the corner here, and I'm going to show you all the formation we call the wishing well. So it's a flowstone formation. Water drop comes down from the roof about every second, and it splashes out, makes this beautiful flowstone formation. Once you've had a quick look at that though, we're making our way to the back of the cave, and there's a wooden bench you can take a seat on when you get over there. Just make sure you turn left when you get to the corner here, because this is where the man walked straight into the water 6 months ago. Careful. So I'll sneak past and I'll lead the way, and when you're ready, you can follow me, and we'll continue on. Thank you for not pushing me in. I can tell it's going through your head.
That's another thing you go.
I'm waiting for the day somebody does it. So before you make your way to the back of the cave, have a look behind me here. So this is the wishing well. Should be able to see that little water drop. Lands about every second. So every droplet of water is bringing tiny pieces of calcite with it, and it just leaves it on the cave floor. But because this water's like flowing and running, it leaves that very smooth like formation that you see along the top there. And if you look down the bottom here, we say this looks a bit like brain coral. Ever been snorkeling before? Definitely looks like a coral reef. Although it is nearly lunchtime, so you might be thinking about food. You might see noodles or spaghetti down there. Depends on what your mind's thinking of. But of course, it's all coming from this little stalactite on the roof. Because that water drop drips a lot, the crystal doesn't get left to the roof. It has to hold on, the water drop has to evaporate, calcite gets left behind. If it keeps landing on the bottom, you get flowstone and this huge formation going down the base there. But I'm just going to sneak in here, turn on some more lights.
Sorry.
And of course, once you've had a look at this, everyone, you can make your way to the back of the cave, and you can take a seat on those wooden benches when you get over there. And folks coming through at the back, I'll explain everything to you as you come through as well. Yeah, down the bottom here. So this is a bit left cold, brain cold. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. So this is the water drop landing in 30 seconds. Every time that water drop comes down, through that tiny piece of
Hapa ndio mwisho eh? Hapa ndio mwisho.
We don't know. You might take us to. I can't remember. But I'm amazed. They're the first people who came here. How daring are they? Huh?
Daring.
So what he meant, huh? The other kids. The abos used to live with the other kids.
Yeah. Do you think we should visit one of those?
Huh?
Do you think we should go and visit one of those? We've been to the best, yeah? Best adventure, yeah. And it's so peaceful, yeah.
Sana. Enye hapa wangefanya. Juu wangetukaje. There are no ropes or anything. But having said that, this region, there is no wildlife like anything, even like
Snake.
a kangaroo fell through the, if it falls in the cave.
They're not stupid. They're not stupid.
They didn't cut up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just graze to the length of your rope, you know. And then back then there was just a lot of grass to graze. What are you going to look for in the, unless you're like niko na mboga na ina chumvi. Kule ndani mna chumvi.
This can be a nice bunker in case of a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Come
But,
to
but actually, the whole of Australia is a bunker. They say the safest place in the world to be if there's a nuclear war.
Why?
Just go to Australia and New Zealand.
Why?
Because of one, the fresh air, and then the way it's just far off the main.
That makes
Because
sense. But
unless
if
unless
that
they are
was
bombed.
thrown here, yes.
Yeah. They were just looking. I think that statement came from someone who is looking at who are the protagonists in the nuclear, and why would you nuke a country that doesn't have nukes?
Yes.
It's a waste.
Yeah. You can be mad people for the fun of it.
Oh yeah, maybe for the fun of it.
Or for political reasons. If they think you side with their enemies, then attack you.
Yeah, actually, if you're in here, you'll be safe. You'll survive. But for how long?
Yes, you come with your canned food.
Yeah, canned food. You just pass by calls, yeah, before you drive down here.
You stay here for 1 year. There are birds which have started flying. You know, it's safe to go back.
Yeah. But you'll come out to no civilization. I'm telling you, everyone is gone. Just the only few of you are down here. But how many people do you
I know
think
some
will?
caves you can turn them into maximum prison.
But that will be a waste if you think of it. If those people
How
just
the guys
decide to wakipiga nduru tu vizuri, hizi inaanza collapse. Unajua these things doesn't want pia your vibration.
And that stream only flows after the winter rainfall. So that's a bit of a seasonally variable cave. So if you're standing up, I do recommend that you stand up on this walkway here, because it will give you a nice view of what's to come as well. And you're welcome to stand here as well, but I just ask that you don't block the view of anyone sitting behind you, if we can do that. And I'll just get behind you guys here. Little light. So welcome to the back of the cave. What we're going to do here is we're going to be doing, I call it a light show, it's not lasers or anything like that, don't get too excited. We're just going to highlight different areas and talk about what we're looking at. So first things first, as you've been walking through Lake Cave, you've probably noticed the crystal has a white or a yellow colour, and that is the natural colour of calcite. But whatever the rainwater lands on up the top, that'll actually change the colour of the water and subsequently change the colour of the crystal once it gets into the cave. So a good example of this is behind me, all these crystals over here have a bit of an orangey, sort of a caramel colour to them. And the reason for that is pretty straightforward. Up above you right now is a forest, and all the leaves from the trees fall down onto the forest floor, and those leaves are full of tannins, full of colours basically. The rainwater lands on those leaves, picks up the tannins, and pulls them down into the cave. So it's the exact same process as when you make yourself a cup of tea, and you put your tea bag in the water, and those tannins change the colour of the water, but it changes the colour of the crystal down in the cave. Now, you follow my torch up, you should see more of those caramel coloured stalactites as well. We don't have much of it in this cave, there's only a few sections. If you go to a cave like Nilgi Cave or Jewel Cave, you have a lot more tannin-stained calcite. What you don't have in those caves, and you only have in Lake Cave, is a 5.3 tonne table holding onto the roof. It's pretty impressive, and we do like to show it off.
Oh, wow.
You may have remembered me saying a little bit earlier that you're seeing more water in Lake Cave today than Tim Connolly did in 1897. Now, if you want to know why that is, it's actually because 3 years ago we had a devastating bushfire up above. This bushfire burnt about 8,000 hectares of land. The big dazzling, the big sinkhole we walked down, we actually lost 200 wooden stairs going down that sinkhole. So we were closed for 6 months while we had to fix that. But because the trees up above were burnt so badly by that fire, the rainwater that followed after the fire wasn't getting soaked up by the trees. They weren't as thirsty. So the water came straight down into the cave and has filled it up. Now, obviously, a bushfire is not a good thing, and we don't want a bushfire to keep burning the forest up above. However, it does raise the question, is there a connection with what's going on up the top and down the bottom? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. If you go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, before European settlement, there were dandy people who used to roam around this area. They're still here, but they used to regularly burn that bushland up above where we are. That meant there weren't as many trees and there weren't as many leaves to soak up the water, and it would come into the cave a lot easier. So one of our big theories on why the water levels have been dropping in Lake Cave is actually due to the bushland up above not quite being controlled the same way. The other one, of course, is just less rainwater. We don't quite get the same amount. If you came on a tour 3 years ago, there was no water in front of me here. There was only a little puddle in the middle. So you've all time to visit very well. But like I said, it's good for the Steiger fauna. If that water completely disappears, so do the Steiger fauna. Jewel Cave in Augusta used to have a lake. That dried up in 1993. Their Steiger fauna have disappeared. So it's very important that there is water in Lake Cave. Thank you for listening to my science lesson. We'll make it a bit more fun now. Do you remember that dragon? Well, it's going to make a return. Our dragon likes to show off. And because you've all been so well behaved, the dragon might even breathe a little bit of fire for you. That's special effects.
Dazzling.
So we're all pretty lucky. We get to walk through this cave with stairs and walkways and lights. If you came on a tour in 1901, there were no stairs, there were no walkways, there were no lights. Your tour guide, Tim Connolly, walked you through the water, which is about a little bit shallower than it is today, and all you had was a candle and a box of matches. So you can imagine walking through the cave with a candle in a water stream and dropping your candle, suddenly you're in a bit of trouble. It gets very dark, very quick. Would you like to see how dark it gets? Yeah? No one screaming no is a good sign. Now before I turn off my light,